Okay, hello. You're gonna love this. This is mental. This is. I'm gonna make a little connection here. We're gonna discuss Hoover Dam destruction. This Han Solo frozen in carbonite and how it ties in with the eclipse. How all those things tie together, right? Okay. What we've got going on here, yeah, is Han Solo. He's been frozen in carbonite. Okay. What do we have occurring over the United States? We have the completion of the cross happening tomorrow. Okay, it's actually currently the 7th of April today as I do this video. Tomorrow is the 8th, the day of the eclipse, the completion of the cross, the X marks the spot over the United States. Where's it happening? Where's that cross? Where's the middle of the cross? What's at the heart of that thing? It is not Carbonite, but Carbondale. Okay. Now, what is going on here? We've got monolith symbolism going on with Han Solo. Okay, the monolith, 2001, A Space Odyssey. Yeah, the monolith is obviously connected with the ability to move into a realm of the metaphysical. Yeah, it's a doorway. It's a gateway into the metaphysical. Pandora's box. Okay, we got to be careful when we go into that thing because there aren't any real rules per se. So the problem is things can get out of hand. Okay, this is the moon essentially. Where do they find the monolith? Or at least the first monolith on the on the moon. Okay, what's left at ground zero after the towers are removed? The monolith. Okay, after balance is removed. Okay, that's all that's left there. And the problem is, if you don't have a physical side to reality to maintain the set of rules, the natural order of things, the natural law, we can get into all kinds of problems. Okay, and the thing spirals out of control, and we're in a complete mess. Okay, this is why the monolith has that negative association with it as well. Okay, so he's frozen in this thing. Okay, where do I want to go with this? I just really want to, let's tie this back now to the eclipse. Okay, so we know that the monolith is to do with the eclipse. They show us eclipse type ideas in 2001 as well. So we know this thing's to do with the eclipse, right? Now, let me show you something. Let's do the gematria first. So we're going to Han Solo, and then we'll look at some of these numbers, okay? So I've got some of this stuff in here from, oh, blimmin' hell. Let's go Han Solo first, hang on. I've got some of this stuff in here from Star Wars, okay? And we can see straight away that Han Solo, okay, and we've got, you know, a reference to the sun in there twice, really. You know, we've got Sol and we've got Anne, okay. But look at this, 84, okay, 84 straight away. So we've got the date of the eclipse right here. I'll tell you what's fascinating about this 105. 105. Hang on, I've got this written down somewhere. Let me look on my piece of paper. What is fascinating about the number 105 is if you go from 9/11, okay, from 9/11, 105 days takes you to Christmas. If you go from Christmas another jump of 105 days, guess where you're going to end up? On 8/4, okay? Another rebirth date, okay? 8/4, X marks the spot, okay? Who is Han Solo? Indiana Jones, okay? X marks the spot, okay? The Holy Grail. So And we've even got the 33 in here for a nice little death and resurrection number, a reference back to Christ. Anyway, so we've got this thing going on, and so we've got carbonite, we've got some kind of reference to the eclipse, and obviously, you know, the place where this whole thing is taking place, Carbondale, Illinois. Okay, I don't really have much. I don't really want to go into any of this sort of stuff here. The coordinates are interesting, but you know, I'm not really, you know, what am I going to do? You know, County Jackson. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, you could probably spend a little bit of time going through the numbers here. Not that interested in it, to be quite honest. What I'm interested in is this idea of carbon. Okay, now you'll hear a lot of people go on about it's a reference to 666. You know, the carbon atom. You know, the what we're told the carbon atom is, okay, and this reference to 666. Well, I'm going to go a step back from there, okay, and what I'm going to do is we'll just go to, you know, the origin of the name carbon, okay, derived from Latin carbo, for charcoal, okay. It was known in prehistoric times in the form of charcoal and soot, i.e. something that had been burnt, yeah, wood that had been burnt, okay, and not fully combusted. That's how you get charcoal, okay, heated wood basically that hasn't been fully burnt, right? Soot again. So this reference to carbon, though, what we have to remember is further down here, this idea of the diamond is pure carbon, okay. So this reference to the moon, yeah, with the diamond, the Diana moon, yeah, Diana the moon, diamond, okay. We know that the diamond, we're going to have, will they have a diamond? Will it be a diamond ring? I don't know, with the eclipse. But that's, you know, that's that idea again. You know, the moon is the diamond. Okay, so this reference back to carbon. What is fascinating is that the carbon that has undergone a burning process now, i.e., yes, been burnt with fire, like the phoenix from the flames, yeah, that thing has to turn to ash first. The carbon, right? So this burning turns that thing black, and or at least a partial burning, okay, where it's not completely gone, okay. What we're left with is soot and little bits of charcoal if the thing's not completely consumed. Interesting. What will be happening to the moon? It will be turning from diamond, it will be turning from the diamond into the monolith, into this black hole, nothingness. What's actually going on, if you think about it, is, I know a lot of people say, well, it's the moon eating the sun. Well, hang on a minute. How about it's both of those things eating one another? Okay, both of those things are unbalanced, and what happens is those two things consume one another. Okay, now we can look at it as one consuming the other, but in terms of we could look at it as the moon eating the sun or the sun eating the moon. What's the problem is those two things aren't balanced at that point, yeah, because the earth, the balance point, is no longer between those two things. Those two things have come together and devoured one another. Don't know really where I'm going with this, but it's not just is this problem with physical desire controlling, and then controlling us enough for us to invent, you know, this false matrix, the false ego, which again is a metaphysical idea governed by physical desire. The reason why we have those physical desires is because we've stepped out of the system that balances those physical desires. We've stepped out of nature, and unfortunately now we're stuck in a system where, unfortunately, we are out of control. We're physically out of control, which makes us spiritually out of control, and vice versa. That's what I was trying to get at. I don't know if that makes any sense to people, but this idea of, you know, this changeover from diamond to soot, you know, as that thing happens, as the fire of the sun consumes the diamond as well, yeah, the moon, and everything turns black. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, wonderful. The number, remember, carbon C element. Carbon C. Number 3. So let's go back to the gematria real quick. We can have a look. Oh, look. Number 3. Very interesting. And you'll see this as well with Mark Hamill's full name here, Mark Richard Hamill. We've got the 159. This is pretty interesting. And also got 300. That's pretty interesting. And we've got the triple. We got 111. You just can't write this stuff, don't you? Mark Hamill, just plain and simple Mark Hamill. We got 98, 44, 64. Those are all really important numbers in the Queen's Cross, which I'll show you in a minute. We'll go to that, as is the 84. Okay, with Han Solo. And of course we can go to Luke Skywalker, which is, and Luke as well. So we've got Luke as a 49. Holy schmoly, because that's the day I've got pegged for the Hoover Dam. And we've also got Luke Skywalker as a 48 here in the reduction. So it's all interesting stuff. Also we've got 174. This whole thing with the 74, 47, and the beginning of the United States, 74, and today's date, 47, and potentially something on. Well, I don't know if anything terrible is going to happen tomorrow necessarily, but I think it might be the kickoff of something maybe fairly big. But obviously, me talking about the destruction of the Hoover Dam is a fairly major event, and obviously the idea of that whole thing is reflective with what I go on about all the time as well, with the idea of Madonna dying, which again today is one of those days. So what else did I really want to show you with this? There's some fascinating stuff, to say the least, but it gets better than that, because what I need to do actually is I need to show you. Let's go to the Dam Busters raid, just so that you can be familiar with this. It's a pretty important film, and there's a ton. I mean, I've gone through a lot of the symbolism that's in the film and where it shows up in bits here and there. But one of the main things is that in Star Wars, the trench run where they destroy the Death Star, which is again the moon, the monolith, yeah, the evil version of the moon. When they destroy that in Star Wars, they have the trench run, which is based off of, or just lifted basically from, the Dam Busters, and also 633 Squadron was another sort of bombing raid mission film, and that actually is referenced with Griff's car in the hoverboard scene, the hoverboard scene in Back to the Future. There, Back to the Future 2. So his BMW happens to be a 633, I think. So where do I want to go with this? I want you to be familiar with the idea, though, that the whole idea of the Death Star being destroyed. The Death Star is the Hoover Dam. It is the dam, okay? And this is why they've got the Raiders Stadium named the Death Star in Vegas. You know, there's a reason why these things happen. Anyway, I want you to just be aware that the release date for the film is May the 16th, and the actual this is based on the real life bombing raid in the Second World War, which I believe was May the 16th and 17th, 1943. That would have been okay. So this is really interesting. Did I have anything else I wanted to say about it? No, but we're going to see where those numbers pop up here in just a second. Okay. A couple other things to note. Harrison Ford's birthday. I think I've maybe said he was the 31st of July before, but it's actually the 13th of July. Get my ones and threes around the wrong way. The 13th of July is his birthday. That's important to note. He's got, I mean, I don't know what to say about Indiana Jones, but it's just absolutely plumb chock loaded with stuff. Absolutely loaded with Hoover Dam references, and I don't know what else to say about it other than it's just absolutely loaded, and there's a reason why they had to have him as Indiana Jones. Did I have anything for Mark Hamill? No, the 25th of September is kind of interesting because I think I want to say that would have been a twin date with one of these days that is around this area right now of between April the 4th and through to the 11th or whatever we are with the really interesting stuff. In fact, the really interesting stuff is really from the 31st of March through to the 11th of April. Okay, the CRM 114. So bear these numbers in mind. We'll have a quick look at the we've had a look at the gematria. Was there anything I forgot on here? There was a couple of things that we could maybe come back to. There's some references when they're doing that trench run in Star Wars. Beggar's Canyon comes up, which is a 131:59. You know, the 131 again with Madonna. In fact, today we are 131 days from Madonna's birthday, in running from her birthday backwards. If you go forwards from her birthday 131 days, guess where we end up? Christmas. Well, that's kind of interesting with that 105 that I just said about 105 days from 9/11 is Christmas, and 105 days from Christmas is 8/4. So we got this kind of very close tie-in here with today's day and Christmas and 9/11 and Madonna's birthday. Anyway, it's really that already ought to go in a different video. But what else did I want to show you? So we've got the 8. We've done all the 8/4 with Han Solo and how that ties into the eclipse and the carbonite freezing, being frozen. Again, Madonna has the song Frozen, which ties back obviously to the Disney film Frozen, and in Frozen 2 we have the dam has to collapse, and again when we tie it back with Harrison Ford, back with Indiana Jones, we have the scene in The Last Crusade where he doesn't actually say it to Elsa. Elsa's the female interest there with Harrison Ford that's helped. Well, they're looking for the Grail together, and she's reaching for the cup. And Indiana Jones doesn't say it. He doesn't say "let it go," but she slips from Indy's hand into the void. Right, gone. Then Indy falls down the crack, and Senior's got a hold of him. So Sean Connery's got a hold of him, and that's when Sean Connery says, "Indy, let it go." And we have the "let it go" scene with the Frozen connecting back with Elsa that's just gone down the hole. She didn't let it go. You know, you just can't write this stuff, I'm telling you. Anyway, where was I going with this now? I've completely lost my train of thought here now. Let's see. Carbondale. We've done the carbon reference. Gosh, I don't know where to even go with this. We're going to do Dam Busters, okay? Let me actually show you the scene, because I want to show how this also, with some very basic decoding, or like the symbolism they use in the film, how this ties back to, again, the reason why I bring up Harrison Ford as well, or Han Solo, is he's the one that comes back right at the end of that scene before Luke is able to shoot the proton torpedoes. No Star Trek. Down the outlet, okay, down the little hole, yeah, through the Vesica Pisces, the torpedoes, okay. A reference again with torpedoes to water, the pipe work, the Vesica Pisces, yeah, and obviously proton, another reference to I guess that I don't know really what says. Proton would be a reference to a new beginning, I suppose, or even back to you could even take that back to like water again, hydrogen, and the sun. I don't know how you even want to cross-reference proton, but where was I going with this now? He's the guy. Han Solo's the guy that comes back in the Millennium Falcon right at the end there, and shoots the Darth Vader's two wingmen, I guess, or one of them, or whatever, and it crashes into Vader, and he goes flying off. Okay, and again we've got to have Vader there for Vegas. That thing his fighter goes flying off, and then Luke is able to make the shot. Okay. Oh dear, Dan. Come on. Anyway, what is fascinating is he is right there at the end, okay, helping Luke. Now, let me show you something in this clip, right? I'm not going to play the clip. They're in the trench, doing the trench run. Luke's in front here, and what we have is he is in the X-Wing, yeah? The X-Wing. The X that is being formed over the States tomorrow. The X-Wing, yeah? The number 10 completion of a cycle. The X-Wing, okay? Notice the 4 burners there, okay? Notice that the X is a reference to the number 4, okay? This is, again, interesting that we've got this thing occurring in the 4th month. Yeah, the X, the cross, the thing of balance, is a reference to the number 4, okay? Let's look at Vader's windscreen here. It's an octagon. How many sides does an octagon have? 8. Okay, so we have 4, 8 referenced here with the window. What's even better than this is we can go ahead and we can count the little panels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, and look, we've got an extra one in the middle. 4, 9. Brilliant. It's real. I mean, this isn't, I mean, I tell you what, I don't think, I haven't really, I would need to go back through the film and really pay attention to see if, 4-8 and 8-4 show up anywhere. But it's a film with not, I mean, there's some numbers in it and there's some references. There's plenty of numbers in it, but it's not like, like some films are just like, they just slap it everywhere. This is a little more subtle, I think. And it definitely is. But the actual symbolism is quite You know, I mean, it's not that subtle, really. The X-wing fighter, you know. Anyway, I think I'll leave it there for this. Really, I mean, I don't know what else I wanted to say about it. Again, if I've got a minute, what I want to do, actually, what I will do is I'll show you the Queen's Cross, because I did say I'd show you it, and we'll see where the 4.8 and 4.9 show up for new people that maybe haven't seen my stuff on this before. One of my decoding charts, I call this one the Queen's Cross. This is quite a recent sort of thing. This is the last few months I've been looking at this. So it's quite new, fresh. What you'll notice is that there's a cross in here, a blue cross, and what we've got going on is, notice the top of this thing, okay? Notice the bottom of the cross. Notice the death date of the Queen here. In fact, this date, when I'm on the topic of dam busters, Robert Shaw, actor, he's in that film. He's also in a film with Harrison Ford, Force 10 from Navarone, which is all about blowing up a dam. Pretty interesting. What's also interesting is that his birthday is the 9th of August. Okay, and then we have a reverse number again for the Queen, who dies on the 8th of September. So it's interesting, this 98 that shows up, it shows up a hell of a lot. And this may be the reason why, you know, it's the top and the bottom of this cross here. Also, so we can see in the middle of this thing, we've got the 48, yeah, for the eclipse, and we've got that 9-4. This is the date that I got pegged for the Hoover Dam at the minute. The reason why I've been looking at this date quite a bit is because this is referenced on the dollar bill. Okay, this number, not only can you get the actual number itself, but you can get a number jump as well referenced with this, and the number jump actually ties back to 9/11, which is pretty interesting. So something else to note about this line here, this is the middle line, which is actually built off it's actually this same line that occurs right here, which I call the pi cycle, or the pi row, or the pi. I don't really know. I don't really have a proper name for it. I usually call it the pi row, but it's a Fibonacci type number sequence or cycle, which just starts with the number 314, and that hence why it's called pi, or the pi row. Okay. But what's fascinating about this pi row is that it's the same set of numbers that's in the middle of this table here. It just starts in a different place. Okay, there's the start of it there. So this is all to do with pi, American pi to be exact. And again, the start of this thing, yeah, the start of the pi cycle happens to have these numbers right here at the start of it. This is the changeover point. The same as with Fibonacci. If we look at Fibonacci here, that's at the top, the actual changeover point is between, and I've got it at the bottom of the table as well, the actual changeover point is between 9 and 11. Okay. So again, we've got, if we just read that number backwards, we've got Harrison Ford's birthday right there. Kind of fascinating, to say the least. And in fact, if we were to go back to his gematria, should we do that? Let's just do it real quick. If we go back to his, come on, I was sure that I don't have his gematria in here. Who did I have that I was thinking of? Oh, Harrison Ford. Yes, I do. 145. Okay, this 145. In fact, what was this? 179. 145. Again, let's go back to the chart here. Notice this 145 occurs right here. You know, tying his, his birthday in with his gematria, in with the numbers of pi, okay, and the start of this sort of balancing sequence right here. It's no wonder that we've got multiple references with him. He even does the dam jump, in The Fugitive. He jumps off the dam just like Pierce Brosnan. And interestingly enough, I think Pierce Brosnan's birthday is the 16th of May. He does the jam jump in GoldenEye. And what's also interesting about this, again, this is the Dam Busters right here. Yeah, this is the Dam Busters, May the 16th, the release of the film, and the actual Operation Chastise, the 16th and 17th. I'm sure that's what it was, something like that. So it's just when you start looking at this stuff, it becomes a little crazy, to say the least. In fact, did we have a 9-5 as well, tying in with one of those characters? Let me look. 5-9. Oh, it was Luke that had the 5-9. Okay, Luke with the 4-9 and the 5-9. Yeah. So again, it's just, they kind of almost play the twins as well, kind of, because they're, you know what I mean. They have the same love interest sort of thing as well, even though, well, yeah, even though it turns out not to be a love interest after they kind of realize that they're brother and sister. But anyway, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to leave it there. The last thing I want to say, actually, there's one more thing that I just want to let's just cover. Because you'll also see, where was that other number? So we had the one, yeah, it was Mark Hamill that had the 44, the 98, and the 64, okay, in his gematria. Let's just look at that in the table real quick. So let's get rid of some of this so we can look at his, again, his 44 is right at the center of this thing. Yeah, his 98 is the top, super important. And 64 again, right? So we had Harrison Ford tying into the start here of pi with his birthday numbers here. And now with the 64 in this gematria here with Mark Hamill, okay, yeah, look, this is the start of that, of actual pi numbers here. I've got the first 24 numbers of pi, actual pi. I've took the first 24 numbers and put them in the table to match up with what we've already got in here, okay. And so I've got I've got a starting point in the center of the table for pi, and I've got a starting point over here as well. So we've got two different starting points. If you look at my other chart, which is called the King's Cross, it's got the same set of numbers in here, except all the sequences actually start in the middle of the table, okay. So we can pick out some different patterns with that other table and some different center points. But again, I don't, what else do I say? 74 is obviously very important. Just going back to Madonna for a second, or even today for a second. If I can get this video out, it'd be better if it was come out on 7/4. But it's there's our Dam Busters references, and it's right next door to this number. But yeah, I've got the actual numbers of pi, and there's some interesting synchronicities. Obviously, when we start Fibonacci on 911, and we adjust the pi row to start in the middle of here, what we'll see is what we're actually doing is we're actually matching up these two numbers, 8-4, which it shows up in these two sequences. So we can align those two 8-4s, the idea of aligning something, two different things aligning, yeah, the sun and the moon aligning, yeah, the pi, the moon pi, aligning with the sun, the 911. It's kind of interesting that these two things are aligning on 8-4. And so what I'll show you is this interesting thing with Mark Hamill, with this 64 right here, which is kind of a reflection of this 9-4 up here as well. 6 is 9 kind of idea going on. So the 64, which is referencing the start of this thing, again, if we come back to the halfway point, or this start here of this thing, so we've got 911 as a start point, with 314 as the start point of actual pi, and when the pi is adjusted, these first couple of numbers that are right here are extremely interesting, because if we go from Madonna's birthday, okay, which again, without spending ages explaining it, if we go from Madonna's birthday though, this is the number jump that takes us up to, and it takes us up to 410. Okay, this is the number jump right here. Actually, it takes us up. It might take us to 49. I can't remember which one it is now. Hang on a minute. I got it written down here. I'm going all round cuckoo with all the numbers here and all the number jumps. I'm remembering exactly. Yeah, it's Madonna's birthday takes us to 410 if we do this number jump here, which is actually 23,979 days. Fascinating that we're referencing back to pi again. Remember, the Hoover Dam, you can get that pi symbolism just from the structure of the dam. Remember that Elvis has the haircut with the side chops, yeah, where you can get the symbolism of pi, okay, the symbol of pi from that. Born the same year as the Hoover Dam is born, okay, dies same day of the year as Madonna is born, 8/16, okay. So there's these interesting tie-ins, you know, what if you watch Jurassic Liars, one of his interesting things that he's found over the years is that if you take the reverse letters for the alphabet for Elvis, it spells hover, okay, like the hoverboard scene, Hoover, hoverboard scene, Hoover Dam scene in Back to the Future 2. There's a reason why they've got a big pond lake with boulders sat in front of the courthouse and the rockets shoot towards the courthouse and smash the doors open right there between. And that door, again, that glass door where that thing's hitting, is the monolith. It is 8-4. That is the reference point. That doorway is the fifth element. Okay, it's the fifth pillar that you don't see. So that's an 8-4 reference right there, when they go through that doorway in Back to the Future. Okay, because what is happening on 8-4 is the eclipse. Okay, so it's a very interesting idea. Midnight hour though, I would be looking not during the daytime, but sometime in the midnight hour. And that whole idea of the power going out, again, the blackout is what happens when the moon goes in front of the sun. I hate to point the obvious out, but there's a lot of references to the idea of the blackout and electricity grids going down and stuff. Again, what happens when the moon goes in front of the sun is everything goes black. The lights go out. Okay, anyway, that number jump's interesting, right? You can pull that back a day if you include end date. Okay, that's not including end date there. So this is fascinating, and I've got some more stuff to do on that. I'll do a separate video on this time of Madonna's birthday to this end date here, because there's also some more references back with Pluto with that as well, and back with Lucas numbers with that sequence. So it's a whole nother video really to do. I think I've covered enough stuff in here for today, but of course, you know, as I mentioned, Pierce Brosnan earlier with the GoldenEye. There's that scene in GoldenEye, and I showed you this before, but you know the tank has 434 on it. We're going through the 44 here, and the other number on the train, which Madonna is synonymous with, kind of, is 745. Okay, so the 74 is kind of interesting that is tied into that train that is going to get destroyed in GoldenEye. There's a double reference to Boy Toy in that scene, okay, at the start and the end of that scene, okay, which is a reference back to Madonna again. And the train obviously references back to Madonna because she has the same gematria value there with the 2662 stuff going on. What more did I want to say about the 7-4 with Madonna? If something happens tonight or tomorrow, 8-4 is really pretty strong with Madonna as well. But if something happens, I will do a video on it and explain some more of this stuff and how 7-4 ties in. But otherwise, I just can't be bothered. It's already in the back catalogue, and there's just no point in dredging through it again. Unless something happens. So, what else did I want to say? I thought there was something else I wanted to mention about that 7-4, but I can't remember what it is now. Anyway, don't matter. I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now. And I will catch on another one shortly and soon. Okay, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention, was the 131, which is on the train in that's what I was wanting to mention. So on the train in Back to the Future with the 131, obviously Beggar's Canyon, the reference to the canyon here with the 131 I thought was interesting. Okay, tying back to the train that goes into the canyon, which is 131, and we're 131 days backwards from her birthday right now. And the other time with 131 and her birthday, which I already mentioned, of course, is back to Christmas. Okay, the other direction, jump through the year. So it's an interesting thing with the 131, and 47 ties in. Without getting too complicated, again, I'll do another video, but the 47 ties in with 122, which again ties in with the whole idea of the train going into the canyon. But I'm going to leave it there. Okay, calling it a day, and I'll catch on another one here real soon. And thanks for watching. All right, bye.